stay in focus. Like, obviously, like, I need a new lens, but I'm like, I can't afford that. I'm like,
Yeah, I had a manual lens for 2 years, like 50mm on my old camera, and it was like everyone was like, I know how to use it. I'm like, it's not a zoom. Like
Yeah.
it's just a I'm starting.
Just you can continue this conversation anyway. That's the point. We're just talking.
okay.
Okay, we'll go in 5, 4, 3.
Also, here's the
Hello, and welcome to the very first ever videoed episode podcast of Tea Time.
With Caytlan and Isaac and Caytlan. We always like mix up sometimes it's Caytlan and Isaac, sometimes it's Isaac and Caytlan.
What do you think sounds better, Isaac and Caytlan or Caytlan and Isaac?
I think personally
Caytlan and Isaac, yeah.
Yeah, it's alphabetical, better. You know what I mean? That's why
Because when we was... But when we was planning it, you kept saying Isaac and Caytlan.
Because I always put myself up, you know, like...
I always thought that Caytlan sounded better.
But
I just went with it because that's what you said. And I never questioned it.
You know how it's like me, myself, and I? It's kind of like you'd say someone's name and then you'd say yourself.
Yeah.
I was always like, okay, so Isaac and Caytlan, like them, then me, and then it just... But then I was like, it's not alphabetical, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's like it changes every week. Anyway.
I thought we could have done cup of tea time with Caytlan and then...
A cup of tea.
Nah, it doesn't work.
It's too long.
Coffee with Caytlan. But we don't drink coffee.
I drink coffee, just not for the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I think I had a coffee the other day for the first time in like a few months, and it was, do you know, I can only compare it to a caramelized fusion from Zaraffa's. That's the only thing I can kind of compare it to, because it was from MJ's or something, and I sat there the whole time and I was like, I can't do anything but shake. And I didn't sleep that whole night. Like, I used to drink coffee every day, and
That's so weird, wow.
Now I'm a tea drinker. I didn't even know, apparently tea has lots of caffeine anyway. I was like, are you sure? Like, I've never heard of that before, but green tea apparently is really bad for it. So, fun fact. But on the topic of tea, so today we are drinking Australian Afternoon. In the afternoon in Australia.
Wow.
We've got a new tea thing that we're using today, trialing out.
Is it called a pot?
It's a teapot, but it actually comes with a candle warmer underneath. So you put a candle under it, like under the stand.
It's really cute.
It like keeps the tea warm.
Yeah.
It was free. Like I was like, it was
free.
Someone was giving it away on Gumtree, and my mum sent me a photo of it. And was like, "Do you want it?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And this is the first time I've got to use it. So, but we usually have like a scale we rate our tea on.
Okay.
So,
like a 1 to 10 scale, or is there
1
like a
to
tea
5.
language?
Actually,
I'm not sure. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Before that, we'll just introduce everyone to our guests.
we should do.
Yeah.
So I get so into chatting. I'm like, oh, people don't know our guests. Okay, should we give you like 20 seconds to introduce yourself, or is that like really pressure? Like,
no, I can like introduce myself.
Okay, go 20 seconds.
Okay.
I'm not counting.
So, hello, my name's Samantha Kiley. I'm a fine art portrait photographer. I worked at Doughnut Time. That'll be apparently one of the topics today we're going to talk about. But yeah, and I'm drinking tea in this garage in the Sunshine Coast.
Love
me.
it. I love that.
That was amazing.
That's a good introduction. Usually everyone's just like, what do I say about myself? It's like, I'm Caytlan, and
that was like us, like at the first, like, so we'll introduce ourselves, and I'm like, I like to party. Like hot rod.
But yeah, so our tea scale is, so we first, let's taste the tea and rate it out of 5. 1 being worst, 5 being best.
Yeah.
Oh,
4.
You didn't even taste it.
I've been drinking it the whole time.
2.
I feel like 3, but like if it had sugar, then
See, I don't drink sugar. Like, drink sugar.
I mean, I hope you don't.
We're horrible hosts.
I know.
I don't even think of sugar.
This is the first time in 6 podcasts now is this our 6th podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've realised, oh shit, we should offer sugar to our guests. We need to like raid some hotel sugar like packets. I think because I personally I don't like I'm lazy. So I'm like, you know what? Sugar just takes too much time. I'll just...
Oh my goodness.
It's bad for you too.
Yeah. We're all about that healthy lifestyle. That's why we're drinking tea.
Despite the fact you said it had so much caffeine in it.
Yeah. I just think it tastes like Wheat Bix or something. I'm not...
I know, it tastes Australian as fuck.
It tastes like Wheat Bix.
I don't like Wheat Bix, so I'm tasting this and I'm like, shit, this is terrible. Like...
It just tastes so Australian.
You just chuck some Vegemite in there and...
I feel like crocked on
No, that's what it needs. Vegemite, not sugar.
But, like, okay, quick question. So, is it Promite or is it Vegemite? You know what I mean? So, there's obviously 2 different ones. There's Marty Mite as well, or something. Mighty Mite?
Isn't that, like, different, though?
I don't know.
Aussie Mite, they have different, they're different brands with different,
Because
but they don't taste the same.
Yeah, they don't at all. Because Scheiden loves Promite.
Ah.
And I thought he was eating Vegemite, and I was like, oh, can I have some toast? And I bit into it, and I was like... See,
some of them have vitamin B12, and some only have vitamin B1, 2, 3, and 6.
I think, I don't know.
Wow.
But anyway, too much Vegemite talk. I'm not even a big fan of Vegemite, but I still eat it. I think it's just like you have to, if you're Australian, you just have to suck it up and eat Vegemite. We should have had Vegemite
But
toast
is Vegemite
today.
Still Australian?
I don't even think it is.
I think nothing is owned by Australia anymore.
It is where it matters, in the heart and souls of every Australian.
Okay, so 2, 3, and 3? Is that
4?
4.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
Going up in the world.
So if there was sugar in it, would you have given it a 5?
No.
No. So solid 4, no matter what.
Sugar's so un-Australian. Unless... What's sugar? It's a violet crumble.
Violet crumble. Is that like
or
a chocolate?
Tim Tam.
So yeah.
I could just keep looking at the...
Can't relate.
Whenever I say something, it's like...
Okay, next is the aroma. So, like the smell, the kind of,
Oh, okay.
It smells like milk.
Yeah, mine smells like... smells like real milk.
It smells like No, it actually has a smell. And I can't put my finger...
Unless we smell like the actual teapot, like inside. Because this just smells like milk.
So if we look at the ingredients, it's...
Have you used all of the tea bags?
Black tea.
In there? From this?
No, we just opened this.
Yeah, we
this
just
is
open it.
fresh.
Oh yeah, but it actually
Oh
smells...
my gosh, there's so many.
Like, smell this. You can actually
Christ.
get to smell it.
It smells like eucalyptus.
I don't know what it smells like, but it smells...
Yeah, it smells Australian.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
It smells just... They've really captured the essence of Australia. It's
like
really...
Steve Irwin as a tea.
It is.
But I feel like the aroma is way better than what it tastes like. Like I would give it a 5 just on aroma, just because it makes me feel. It's kind of like, so we tried English and Irish breakfast tea like one week after another.
Yeah, and because Australians don't drink at breakfast, they drink in the afternoon.
Which is, I drink it every morning. I love my tea, but
They're probably like, oh, we'll call it Australian breakfast. No, that's a bit repetitive.
but like Irish breakfast smelled like. When I describe what it smelled like, people were like, okay, what? But it smelled like adventure. Like it was wild. Like just the smell.
It was wild, man.
It was like Isaac. Please agree with me here.
No, I do.
It smelled like very like
intense.
Kind of?
Like you were just ready.
I felt like I was.
You Tarzan in the jungle, just having tea.
And then the English breakfast was like cuddles. It smelled like cuddles.
Cuddles
So
on
like,
fire.
this is kind of, I guess, the breakfast version of English and Irish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't really know
You guys are such enthusiasts, and I'm like,
we don't even know
tastes
anything
good with
about
milk and
tea.
sugar.
Like,
Oh, we're winging it. Like,
we wing our tea reviews.
Yeah.
If there was anyone that actually did legitimate tea reviews listening,
if someone like actually meant what we said, Jesus Christ.
Before we started the podcast, we did a bit of investigating into tea reviews. So we were like watching tea reviews on YouTube. There was this one guy that reviewed English breakfast tea. Like,
And his like head wasn't even in the frame.
It was just his body talking.
And it was like the first thing he like talked about was the packaging, and he just like got like one of these, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's nice packaging, yeah."
And we were like, "Oh."
Okay, so that's how you review
So,
tea.
Yeah,
but
it's
like the language he was using, we were like, "No, no, it's not how we review our tea." But our last kind of, I don't know, what would you call it? Category of review.
Yeah.
Would you drink it again? I feel like you
Hell
wouldn't
yeah.
because you don't drink tea.
I don't know. I don't
But-
think I would, to be honest. Except sugar. If it's a sugar, then yeah, I go to like someone's house and they have this. So I'm like, oh, that one time I did a podcast.
I tried that.
I should have had that with sugar.
I think we're gonna have to introduce sugar next week.
Yeah.
Actually, we're gonna check. We should check with our guests before the podcast. Do you take sugar in your tea? And then we can be prepared with sugar. But I think I don't know. I personally I will drink tea if it's there. But you know what I mean? I'm kind of like a.
Are you like emotionally attached to teas, like certain teas you have, and then there's teas you won't have?
Tea tonic is my life.
Yeah.
Tea tonic have like they have herbal teas, normal tea, everything. They have like weird ass flavors that I would not even think of. One's a watermelon kind of like
What?
watermelon tea, and there's like
Oh yeah, they do get pretty crazy.
yeah. But at uni, my go-to is a tea tonic, English breakfast tea with almond milk. And I also need to, so I found the the supplier for the tea that they use at uni. Because you know how they use, like, the cafe blend?
Mm.
It tastes different. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why it does, but it does. Do you know what I mean? Like, you try a Macca's soy milk compared to an actual cafe, and it's so different. And I don't know, I'm like, why is it like this? But obviously it's the milk. But I went online and it's $41 for 12 bottles of milk, of almond milk. And I was like, that is way too cheap.
Mm.
I was like, what? So I'm getting that for my birthday, fun fact. I sent the link to my mum and I'm like, this is what I want for my birthday. I want milk. People are like, but yeah, let's move away from the tea now.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We're dwelling
Has
on
it
the
been
tea.
an hour yet? No.
Okay, so we wanted to chat about your hair first.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Obviously, it's last time I saw you, it was blue.
Yeah, I think it was like a faded blue kind of. Because sometimes it gets really like intense at the top, and then what happens to the bottom? It's like grey and weird.
I dyed my boyfriend's hair blue.
Oh yeah.
Tried. Like box dye, like myself. Never dyed hair before. Ended up using a makeup brush to apply it.
Oh my god. I used to use paintbrushes.
Does it?
It's
No?
Nah, not worth it.
I ended up just like using my hands by the end. I was like,
yeah. You end up using you put like gloves on and you just put it through and it works.
How do you keep your hair like healthy? You know what I mean? Like, how do you keep it from just?
Well, usually I would like bleach it like white blonde or like try and get it as toned as possible, and that's when it's like dead because my hair's naturally brown. And then I would have to use this like special hair mask to like.
What?
It's kind of like conditioner, but you know the professionals like to call it a hair mask because it's different. And I'm like, I don't really see the difference. It's like conditioner.
Dye it yourself.
I do, yeah, I do it all myself.
That is impressive.
Because I never know, like, because, you know, you can't see the back of your head, so you just have to kind of, like, spread it out in the mirror and be like, did I get all of it? And then, like, lather it on. But, yeah. And then, of course, when you put the head, like, for example, the purple, or if you do a darker colour on top, then it kind of conditions it anyway and puts more hair follicles on top. And, yeah, that's how I keep it healthy. It's actually, like, dead on the inside, but, you know, if it had feelings, you know, it hate me.
Yeah, because Isaac got his hair done. He got, is it foils that you got? Like, that, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's foils.
They're like
highlights. Yeah, they got foils.
Yeah.
And then they toned it.
Yeah.
So it's just all through. Well, it cost me like $165.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, you can barely tell the difference because, like, my hair was a bit longer and it was really blonde down the bottom. So it's kind of just, I don't know. It's not too much different, hey?
Yeah, no. I only just realised, I was like, oh, you cut your hair and you got it done. Because do you want to talk about why?
Alright, so actually tonight I'm going to my mate's 21st and it's 90s themed. So he told me I have to go as Kurt Cobain. So I'm like... Because the idea is I already look like him and act like him and dress like him, minus the heroin. Because I'm too poor.
Oh,
but
the only reason. Okay.
But yeah, and he's like, I wanted to go as like Duffman from The Simpsons.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm like gonna buy this big Duffman costume, and he's like, you have to go as Kurt Cobain.
That's the only way you're getting an invite. Like.
So the whole idea is that I don't have to do anything. So I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna like spend $165 on my hair. And I'm gonna like buy clothes and like.
What is your outfit? Like what?
Alright, so I've got like a black flag shirt because I was like, or do you reckon I should like get it like a normal white t-shirt and like draw shit on it?
What do you mean by shit?
You ever just like write stuff or like something angsty.
Maybe like Nirvana is dead. Like
I don't know.
Angst. You know
like,
what I mean?
You ever seen musicians do that? They just get like white singlets and write stuff on them?
Yeah, well, what?
Anyway, so I got like this black flag shirt and like a cardigan. And then I got these white glasses and jeans. And I'm borrowing Converse from a friend.
Okay, I was going to say, if you're not wearing Converse shoes, don't bother, don't go. No.
But they're red, so...
I guess, actually, he did wear red Converse shoes when he had red hair.
Yeah.
I remember, because I looked up to his...
Because, like, I've spent so much money on this podcast, on this, like... I've just spent so much money this week that I'm like, do I really want to spend $100 on shoes?
Just for the get up.
So I called up talked to my mate Ben, and I'm like, hey Ben, do you have any spare Converse shoes? Wink wink. And he's like, yeah bro.
So now you have it sorted, love it.
But yeah.
But so the topic I've been waiting for. Drum roll. Donut time. Okay, so I firstly okay. So Tom was telling us about how the donuts are like not fresh.
Oh no, they were freshly made, like from the beginning. For like when the company was going for like I don't know how long it's been. Well, till it ended. It was like I think up for like 2 years. So like maybe a year and a half of that they were doing like freshly baked and all of that. And then once they started losing money, then they were like, we're gonna get frozen donuts.
So they were frozen.
Yeah, like from like towards the end, they were all. That's the only thing they could afford. And they like basically forced the bakers to like use the frozen donuts instead of make them. But most of them had like black spots on them, and like customers didn't know because they'd like glazed them over and all that. And it ended up in all the newspapers. Like the head chef like came out and was like, you know, the founder or the CEO like made me, you know, put all of this on and like And that's how people found out they were all frozen.
Oh my god!
And they looked really differently. Wow. Like one day I came into work and I look at the donuts and I'm like, this isn't worth $6.70. This isn't worth $8. I was so like not okay with this, and to pick them up, they're like falling apart, and oh my gosh.
And that was because the first time I tried Donut Time was like end of last year, like August, kind of mid last year, because I could never find vegan donuts.
Oh, okay.
So that was what kind of like appealed me in, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try these. And the first one I tried was like it had caramel.
See ya.
No, I'm just checking the video.
It looks
was
like
like,
good.
Okay, good. I was like,
it
okay,
had like
bye.
caramel. It had like custard-ish in the middle and like a caramel glaze or something. It was like
the vegan ones? Or
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what one it was, but I kept trying. Like, all I wanted was that one again, and after that week, then I never saw it again.
Yeah. We like had to like recycle, well, like do different donuts all the time. That was part of our like thing, like that we did at the time. But I mean, I didn't make the donuts. I just like sold them. I was like, hey, here's like new donuts, and everybody would ask for like the old ones, and the jam donuts, and like different vegan donuts, and I was like, I can't do anything about it.
End, like the last time I went and got a donut from Donut Time was probably like this year towards like February-ish, and they only ever had the one with the sprinkles, the vegan one.
Oh, Fairy Godmother?
That was the only vegan one they had every single time. And like,
for some reason, those were actually okay. Like, all the other normal donuts, like, because that's when the frozen ones came in. Those were the only ones that actually were okay. And they would have used different, like, baking stuff, you know, in the actual mix. So, like, they would have kept that the same. But they never had gluten-free donuts once the frozen donuts came out. Because the thing is, I can't have donuts because I'm gluten intolerant. Really? The same? So, like, every Friday when it was, like, gluten-free donut day, I was so keen to have, like, the different donuts that came out. And they got rid of it. Once they got the frozen donuts in, it was like, no, we can't afford the gluten-free, you know,
but people
donuts.
were buying, you know what I mean? Like, people were still buying the donuts. It wasn't like...
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, like, going down because we got less and less, you know, people wanting to come because of the frozen donut issue. Yeah. And more of the issue of, like, the founder getting in trouble, like, with lawsuits and all that sort of thing. Yeah. And Donut Time just wasn't doing very well.
And, like, I started, every time I go to Brisbane, one I'd usually go to was, like, closed or something, like, shut down. Yeah, and then I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, or, like, what actually started happening was that the kitchen would go on strike because the workers weren't being paid there. I mean, nobody was being paid, but, like, they were the ones that were like, we're going to go on strike and we're not going to make donuts for this amount of time, or, like, this morning or this afternoon. So customers that would go around and, you know, Donut Time would say it's open, but there was nothing there. And people couldn't go into work because there were no bakers to bake the donuts. And, you know, obviously...
So you got, like, a delivery every day of...
Yeah, we got delivery, like, early in the morning every day. Sometimes it would be a bit delayed, like, even when it was normal, which was fine. It was, like, around opening hours always, or before then. But, yeah, and then I remember this one day I came into work and the donuts turned up at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and I had to wait there from, like, 9 o'clock. Like, literally the whole time in there. And they're like, it's fine, you're getting paid for it. I'm like, I have to wait here to do nothing until these donuts turn up, and I have to keep, like, sending people away. And everyone comes around, like, 10 o'clock or, like, morning, like, for, like, you know, a morning tea snack or, like, after lunch. So, obviously, it was, like, 2 p.m. It was, like, this lineup, and so frustrating.
Yeah, because my favourite Donut Time was, do you know the one that was, like, it had this picture... Should I stay or should I do? Oh. With the Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah. The Stranger Rings?
Yeah, Stranger,
Well, same thing.
Stranger Rings.
We called it that, so.
Yeah, because I went there one time and the girl was, like, drawing something, and I was like, I saw it, and I was like, what is that? And she's like, oh, I drew that. And then we were, like, talking about it. But it's got, like, do you know which one I'm talking about? And it's got, like, the checkered floor next to it. So it's a really small cubicle. It's like in the valley.
In the valley?
All of them are like near the valley. Like,
I don't even know if I've been to the one in the valley. I know there was one in the valley, but it was one of the first to close down, so I never actually ended up going.
It probably was that one.
I mean, I worked at a lot of the Donut Time stores because once you are hired at one, you can work at, like, anyone you want, basically. Like, anyone who needed a shift. You can work. I mean, I live far away from literally everything, so it was like... You know, I couldn't take the ones in, like, South Brisbane because I'm very North Brisbane. But the furthest I went was, like, East Brisbane. So, like, just over the river. Yeah. And I worked there most of the time. And then I worked at, like, Albert Street Donut Time, which is, like, the smallest one I've been to. But the one in East Brisbane I worked at had Mr. Fitz as well. Because Mr. Fitz, you know, the ice cream?
Yeah, I've never been there, but... So they shut down as well?
Yeah, they're all interlinked with each other.
They're all...
Yeah.
Oh my
god.
God.
It's a sad time.
It's a really sad
Yeah, because I know I shoot there all the time. Like, when I go to Brisbane, I try to shoot. Because, okay, so what made me suspicious was I went to that ice cream place. I think you took a photo out the front of it.
Was that the one in the
The
Valley?
pink one.
Mr. Fitz? It's like the pink building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone shoots.
Yeah, everyone go. I see pictures on Instagram and I'm like, actually, it's actually funny. The other day, someone told me that they broke into it, like the door was unlocked.
What?
And I was like, me being like rebellious, I was like, oh, I want to go see if I can get in.
Was it unlocked?
But I think when I went, it was like a week later, and someone had put a like padlock on it, and I was like, I came all this way just to see if I could get inside. And it still has all the boards up inside, like it's got, you know, the prices with everything, and nothing looks trashed. So I wanted to like actually go inside and be like, I wonder if I can, because obviously I wanted to shoot there when there was no people there when it was running, because obviously the aesthetics and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I can go in there and it's like closed and stuff, but I can shoot.
Yeah, because I see a lot of, but I've seen a lot when it was open.
Yeah.
And girls like shooting through.
Like the
thing.
windows and all that sort of
and
stuff.
And it looks so nice. That's why I first went there.
Yeah.
And it was closed. Like I had a look on Google and it said permanently closed, and I was like to Shine, well, sometimes they do that. If you like stop doing business with Google, they'll actually say you're closed. Even though you're not. It's fun fact.
You're such an optimist.
I was like,
yeah. They're like, it's just, they've just fucked up with Google. There's no
So-
way they've actually closed.
yeah. So I was like, just drove from Sunshine Coast to Brisbane first. Yeah, but then I was like, and then we started noticing, like this was this year, and then we started, we went to Donut Time to get a donut, and the Donut Time wasn't there. It was like all boarded up, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, what is going on?
But I think because, I don't know, so you cannot buy Donut Time pretty much. There's
Donut Time doesn't exist anymore. Mr. Fist doesn't exist. All the things that the founder owns, because he owned like a chain of things, that's all closed down. And the one thing that he was actually sued over, he gave it to someone else, so he wasn't responsible for it anymore, because he was meant to like go to jail for fraud and stuff. Like he was a very sleazy guy, so he was basically stealing money from us, like the employees, you know, our wages and all that stuff, to pay off this thing that should have just gone bankrupt in the first place. But yeah,
can we ask how much you were getting paid?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No. I need to actually remember now. It was like $16 an hour, and I felt like I was working there full time, because when they stopped paying us weekly, like it was like delayed by like 2 weeks or 3 weeks because of the whole issue that was going on. They, like when people were quitting, they kept on asking me to work all these different places, and so me being like, yeah, cool, like I have a job, they'll pay me eventually, then I would like work like nearly every day for like 5 or so hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, so they basically owe me like over $1,000.
They haven't paid you yet.
I haven't paid, no one. My last pay slip was from the 14th of January, and I quit in mid-Feb, and that was 2 weeks before everything was gone.
Oh my goodness.
Too bad.
Yeah, like, so how do you
just, how do I live?
How do you actually try and get them, like, do you have to do like a lawsuit against them?
Oh, well, kind of. I mean, I just need to sign up for these like government claims, and because the company, like Donut Time and Mr. Fitz went into liquidation, so all the creditors, like all the people that are owed money, got a letter in the mail. So it's like all the employees of Donut Time and Mr. Fitz, like everywhere, like even in the Gold Coast and like Sydney and Melbourne, and like it's like this big file.
Yeah.
And like all the things, like money that people are owed and stuff, and they had, like for example, like Sydney and Melbourne would have a total of how much money, like revenue they were owed, or like just in total all the employees of money.
Yeah.
And like Donut Time as a whole, they owed people like $2 million.
Just
like in total.
Oh my god.
That's just
that's
Donut
so
Time.
bad.
Like,
so once they knew they were in trouble, they just stopped paying.
well, yeah, when they were, they kept on saying, they didn't even tell us what was going on though. They just kept on being like, oh, it's fine, we'll pay you, it'll be fine. And then of course, like us being kind of naive, or like, okay, like we need a job, we may as well stay here. And then they kept promising us every week they'd pay. And that kind of stayed like a thing for like 2 weeks. And then was like a month late in pay, and it's a weekly pay. So like, you don't even get like, you know, like fortnightly pay, you get that fortnight of pay. And it's like a bulk of it, but mine was like, not that much. And I was like, cool, I'll just live off my parents. But, what was I going with this? What was I up to? But yeah, I mean, I started working a lot when everything went down, because I got the job in like October, and then that's when it was still like okay, like last year. So like I hadn't even worked there that long, so I didn't want to quit and then it on my resume be like, I worked there for like 2 months. I totally know customer service. But yeah, it was a mess.
Oh. Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, like, I think not just the job itself, but like I could do whatever I wanted. Like it was a one-person job, so I would like edit photos and I would just like do my own thing, play my own music, and there was no one to tell me
That's
otherwise.
like a dream of mine.
Yeah.
To be in like a really like to like work in a shop like that's like really chill sometimes. And you can just sort of
and like you wouldn't obviously there'd be some like times when there was heaps of customers, but it was kind of like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Every time I've been to donut time, it's been like I'd wait like 1 or 2 people max.
Yeah. Unless you're like in the city at like peak. Like when I worked in the city, like it was just like, especially like you get some interesting people. But I never really had a lot of complaints because people are just happy to get donuts. I mean, some people will be like, oh, it's like $6.70. Like, I'm not paying that much for a donut. I'm like, well, Krispy Kreme is over there. You can go there. I don't care. I just get paid to work here and do whatever I want.
Not my problem, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm just drinking milk by itself.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I just found it so interesting, you know, how... Oh,
just keep going.
Okay, we can keep going.
Okay. You find it interesting how?
I just found it interesting, like, when Tom brought up the fact, he was like, so much stuff was going wrong, like...
Yeah.
And I was like, clueless, like, person, not knowing anything about it. Just the fact that I can't believe everyone was underpaid, like, not paid for working and stuff like that. I think that's what surprised me the most. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how can a company actually... Because I ended up quitting my job in... When did I quit? Like, a month or 2 ago.
Yeah, not long ago.
Yeah, and I'd been at the job for 3 years. And it was my only job. And I could not find a job anywhere. Like, I've been applying daily. And having that...
life.
And it's like, I have customer service, like fast food, hospitality, whatever. I have certificates that I've done, stuff like that, and no one kind of wants to hire you. But I ended up quitting because my CRT was pretty much bullied me.
Okay,
so she made me wear like a hat that's... A guy came off the overnight shift, and I always worked opens. And he'd worn the hat the whole night, and he was dripping with sweat. And he handed the hat to me because she was like, you have to wear this hat, because it was the first time I'd forgot my hat in 3 years. Like, it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, 3 years I'd been there and not forgot my hat once. And so I held it in my hand. I could smell it. Like, it was disgusting. And they were like, well, you can go home, but you're not getting paid. And I was like, well, shit, I need money. Like, they dropped my hours from like 38 to 5.
Oh, wow.
So it was like,
nice.
I guess I'm going to have to...
Wait, that happens.
Yeah. It was like so shit. And then she kept telling customers that I was wearing an old hat because, like, she's wearing a smelly, disgusting hat because she forgot her hat, blah, blah, blah. And then every crew member that walked in, stay away from Caytlan, she's wearing a sweaty hat. And it was like, you know what I mean? And I'd had a bad day to start with. I'm wearing some guy's sweaty ass hat. And then it was my time to go. And I was like, I need to be gone by 10 because my bus is at 10:30. I need to go to uni. She kept me back for half an hour screaming at me, like saying it's my fault that I didn't have a hat and I should be blaming other people. And I was like, I told you I need to go at 10. It's now 10:30. Like, am I getting paid to be screamed at right now?
Yeah.
And then she was like, blah, blah. And I was like, my resignation will be in tonight.
Nice.
And I got paid. I didn't get my annual payout for a month.
Oh my goodness.
Because they stuffed me around so bad. And I was
Whereabouts did you work?
I don't know if any of my managers watch this, but it's kind of like McDonald's.
Oh, okay, so like fast food. That's all I need to know. It's fine, honey. It's fine.
It's like their kind of enemy would be like McDonald's.
The enemy, their competition.
Their competition.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I mean... but let's that was interesting.
Bag.
What about the bag?
I want to do that now.
Oh, okay.
Do the thing.
You want to do the bag now? Oh, I spilled tea on myself. I was like, wow, that feels wet. I knew I was gonna be the one to spill tea. Like I knew it.
Also, I like the way you're sitting. You're just gonna like have your legs out.
Everyone like
I'm just like, what is going on? I just realized now how odd it is. Like I just couldn't do that.
I'm just like so ADD.
Like what kind of flexibility is this?
I've probably changed my position like 100 times already.
it's a little bit uncomfortable after like sitting here for a bit, but it's also at the same time really comfortable. But okay, so we're gonna pick out. We'll let you pick first, just one topic. We'll chat about that. I reckon just do 3 because we've got some photography stuff to talk about as well.
Yeah, we'll finish with that.
Okay. You pick.
Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
you pick first. I'm excited to know what topics are in there.
Law and Order.
Oh, that was me. That was the first one that we wrote. I was
So
like,
it was like, Law and Order. I'm gonna write that down.
that's literally how.
It was like the first thing that popped into my
Because
head.
I live for law and order. It's
Fair.
when I studied law for a session class. I'm gonna have to shoot you like.
Oh yeah.
When I studied law, I had like big exams, and I did it for one elective class, and it was hectic. So I would watch Law and Order while studying. So like and people are like, it's nothing like it, but like the terms that come up kind of refresh your brain, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'd be doing 16-hour runs of Law and Order, so it would be like.
He's just struggling to take this thing off his head, and I'm living for it.
I like sort of like smelled it.
You don't
And
wanna
like gave like a city look to the camera, like.
Hi. But like I would study like on the ad breaks. I'd be like studying my content. Camera's gone again.
Fucking yeah.
Internal temperature.
Does it mean it's too hot?
Yeah.
Or
Me-
maybe it's been recording for ages, and the thing's just like spastic.
Wow.
That's really weird. Unless, do you have like a timer, like it can only go for like 10 minutes at a time? That's weird.
Nah, because that was our original problem, wasn't it?
You know how like when you have your phone.
We're just gonna have black spots in the podcast, but that's okay. We're just like,
I mean, you guys got audio too, so
Yeah.
it's chill.
now I forgot my train of thought.
Law and Order,
You know-
studying and stuff.
Law and Order.
Do you watch Law and Order?
I don't know, my mum watches like NCIS. Is that kind of the same?
I mean-
Or they're all really different from each
I
other?
don't even think I watched a lot of Law and Order, but I have watched a lot of like
And
investigative shows and that. So
yeah. My
I
mum, when I was
I
little,
get
used to make me watch like killer documentaries when I was little, and she was like,
Yeah.
"You're not going outside now. Like you're not gonna get like."
and I did legal studies, so
I don't know, but now I'm fascinated in that stuff. So I mean,
Fair.
but like I
It's
can't
cool,
walk to the
eh?
bus stop by myself. I'm like, someone's gonna take me. It's like it's a bit embarrassing, but that's whatever. Yeah. But yeah. What?
oh wait.
Let's go to our next topic.
Do I pick one?
Yeah, go for it.
Love how random those are. Mine are like related to like what we're talking about.
I just talk about whatever pops in my mind. What is this?
Favorite location?
Oh, that was yours.
My one.
That's one of our questions too.
Oh,
Is
sick!
Yeah, that's one of
Wow.
our questions. Let's.
May as well.
Okay, what is your favorite location to shoot at?
Primary schools.
Primary school.
That is so bad. Oh my god.
Well,
If you
not
go
in
with
that
the-
context, but okay. I don't know. I think the first place I thought of was I don't know if you guys know that abandoned country club in like northern
Is
New South
that-
Wales.
I was
It's like
gonna
a
say it.
really huge one, but which one were you thinking?
I thought you were talking about before you said New South Wales. You know how you shot Selena? Lena?
Oh, yeah.
Selena, Lena.
Selena. Wait, is that her actual name?
Yeah, Selena.
Oh, okay. I used to call her Lena. I was like, oh, that's such a cute name. But if it's Selena, I think of Gomez. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's spelled different. It's Selina, like C.
Oh, yeah. it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. True. Anyway, yeah.
I was thinking of that location because I don't know.
Which
But
location do we shoot?
It was like one with mirrors and stuff. I don't know.
Mirrors and stuff. Oh, you're talking about when we went to that like place with the colours?
Yeah,
Me and Tom went.
yeah.
That was really cool. Yeah,
I
it's
love
just
that.
like an abandoned house with like stained glass windows that were colourful. I was like,
But yeah, what?
but anyway, mainly just abandoned places are my favourite locations to shoot at. But the country club in New South Wales, it's like a 2.5 hour drive from my house. So you know, dedicated. But like it's just like this really like open. It's like kind of at the end of the street, but it's just like huge. Like and then around it, it's just all this like nice landscape that's like kind of flat and hilly.
Yeah.
And it's just and you can see like the Gold Coast from like the top of this hill and like the cityscape, and it's just like really cool. I don't know. And then at golden hour, it's really nice to shoot there. Yeah,
That
it's really nice.
sounds nice.
Yeah.
I like shooting. My favorite place to shoot is on car park rooftops.
Oh yeah.
I shoot on the same location pretty much every shoot. Like everyone doesn't notice because I know how to work different angles to make things look different. But it's in Caytlan. It's like the bus terminal.
Okay.
So like I don't know if you've seen my recent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my recent shoot with Heidi. There's like a backdrop and it's like blue, kind of squares or whatever. That's like a pole. It is a pole in this parking lot. And I saw
That's
it and I was
so
like,
cool.
because she had disco earrings. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
disco. And then I was like, disco pole. And then,
Yeah, and then they fit together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand.
but
that. Yeah.
I think because every time I go to that location, I find something new. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm
that's
doing
cool.
this. Right? But
That's really cool.
I just like rooftops and stuff like,
Yeah.
I don't know, anything.
Roof topping. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to go I'm like afraid of heights, but I've always wanted to go to the top of like a building, like illegally.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like see someone like sitting on the edge, like those typical like, legs
Yeah.
and all that going up the edge. Did that make sense? Yes.
No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to pick one?
Yeah.
I've nearly finished this milk. I'm really sad now.
You weren't expecting to drink milk today, were you? now you're going to be up on calcium.
Yeah.
And this is too.
Sick as.
Hopefully we pick one of your ones, so it's kind of like, oh wait, yeah, one of each. Hair.
That was mine.
I mean, we've already
We've already
chatted
talked about hair.
Well,
I didn't know when that was coming up though in the conversation, so I thought maybe it could be like, and going into this one. But no, it's chill.
old movies.
Yeah, that was mine.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
Okay, what is your favorite oldest old movie? Like,
How old though?
Yeah.
Like black
Yeah.
and white or
No, just like
or
before
like childhood
2000 maybe.
Well, my favorite movie that was like made in 1999.
Yeah,
It's that old. The Shawshank Redemption.
I watched that for the first time the other day.
Oh, it's so
It's-
good. It's
Yeah.
my favorite movie like in the world. I don't know why. Like I watched it and my life changed.
I find it.
Wow.
I always find myself attracted to the main character.
Yeah.
Stupid
Camera
camera.
turns off again.
Keep going.
I always find myself attracted to the main character when I'm watching a movie, and that dude,
Okay.
I was like, oh, so dreamy.
On
He
Shawshank.
got accused of murdering his wife, but he didn't actually do it. But he's so attractive, and it's every I started watching Lucifer not too long ago.
Oh, okay.
Finished it within 3 days. I was obsessed. But I just instantly fall in love with them. It doesn't matter who they are. I'm
Yeah.
like, I love you. You're mine. But I've been loving. I watched so many of those old movies. I think they're called cult classics if they were put in a genre.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I watched Carrie in my poetry class, writing class not too long ago. Because we were talking about
Like the original.
Yeah, not the new
Yeah, I was
one.
thinking the
Yeah.
new one with what's her name?
Chloe,
Something.
yeah.
And then I read that last scene with her covered in blood. That was the only scary bit that I was like,
I
I'm out.
I haven't seen the
Carrie's-
new one.
I
I've
don't
seen
think
the old
Carrie's
one.
really scary.
I think it's just crazy. And because
It's just mean.
in writing classes, you kind of have to overanalyze and make shit up.
Yeah.
So when we analysed Carrie, we were analysing the text and the movie kind of thing, looking at the way they work. And we had to talk about themes of feminism.
Oh.
Do you know how hard that is? And gender roles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can see
That's
little
really
bits.
typical, but yeah.
Yeah, it's every single. I don't have anything against it, but being forced to write about it all the time is so bad.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at the topics?
We're doing this next week, by the way.
Okay, we won't talk about the topic. It's a good topic. See what I mean?
No. Our guest next week, hopefully, has worked at Domino's for.
It's
years.
about Domino's. I always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Pepsi. Anyway, do you eat
Yes, I eat cardboard pizza.
I just because their vegan pizzas actually taste really good, and my mum has.
them, yeah.
She has a Yui discount code, so you get $10 off 2 pizzas or 15 off 3.
Oh.
So we pay $6 for 2 pizzas.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. So we're like, yeah.
Sick.
So I live off it, but I can't deal with that Pepsi shit. I'm just,
Pepsi shit.
I'm,
Yeah.
makes me upset. Anyway, we might kind of zone into you now.
Wait, by the way,
Oh.
this is like a joke one I wrote. I was like, the current economic climate. And I just wanted someone again and just be like, what?
What is that?
Because I didn't even know what it means. So I thought that was funny.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
On
I know you have some projects coming up. You want to talk a little bit about them, what you're doing, you know?
Okay, sure thing. Well, I've like told you this before, but for everyone listening, I have like a showcase coming up at the end of this month. So I'll be like featured with like 50 other people at the Met in Brisbane, and it's like creative industries. So it's like performers and, you know, makeup artists and artists, like, you know, different that make art, and then of course musicians and photographers as well, and then like other models that come with the performers that make and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be like a big show.
Yeah, it's through Raw.
Raw Brisbane.
Yeah.
Through Raw. Because the thing is, I was never really old enough to go into it, because I've like recently turned 19. And
How
but when I
old
was
do
like,
you have to be?
you have to be over 18
Oh.
to
Okay.
be in it. And when I wanted to go in, I was like 16. And I mean, I had a portfolio and I could have done it, but obviously I wasn't the age. And then I forgot about it, obviously. And then one of the models that I was shooting, she's also a photographer, and she's like, oh,
Is that Willow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, and then I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, maybe I should submit stuff for it. Because I was having a bit of a crisis. I was like, where's photography taking me? And then I was like, maybe I'll submit stuff. Maybe they'll like consider it, or maybe I'll be in the one next year. I don't know. And then they sent me back an email and was like, hey, like, you could be part of the next showcase. And then I read the thing, and it was like the 31st of May. I was like, that's so close. And I was like thinking of all these big ideas. I was like, I got to do all this conceptual stuff, or like, you know, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just stick with like my favorite photos and then submit that.
Yeah.
I still don't know what I'm going to do, and it's at the end of the month, so like panic, but it's going to be exciting.
So do you like print do they print the photos, or do you have to do everything?
I have to like do everything.
Oh, okay.
But they kind of like leave it up to me to do whatever I want. Like they're just like, if you want to also have like a screen up and do like a video or something, or like, as long as it's in the same theme, like photography, because that's why you're there, then they don't really care what you do or what you...
Yeah, because I know... Do they give you like an amount of tickets you have to sell to be in the...
Yeah,
because I heard something about that. One of the...
Yeah, you have to sell 20 tickets,
They'd make bulk money then.
Yeah.
Would they, if 50 artists are...
Well, if you make over... Like, if you sell more than 20, then obviously you get the excess.
Oh,
you
really?
need to sell like 20.
For your,
otherwise
like,
you
space.
pay... Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, that's like $200 because... Wait, is it? No, it'd be more than that. Because it's like... Wait, maths. So it's like $20 for a ticket, and then there's 200 tickets. That's $400.
Yep.
In total. Yeah. So you, as long as you make that 20 ticket mark, then you don't need to pay excess.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's pretty much how you hire the full space. Yeah, because I know Willow... She's in the next one, isn't she?
Yeah, she's... Oh, there it goes.
Oh, you almost slipped over.
But yeah, she was in the previous one. That's how I knew about it. And then now she seems to be doing it again. But like with a different set, obviously, of photos. You can't use the same stuff.
Yeah, because I think she was telling me a bit about it, because I don't know, my photography style is whatever, like...
Yeah, no, I
think, you know what I mean?
relate to that. It's kind of like, oh, that's nice.
And I think because I did a photography exhibition last year, it was so hard for me to like pick one avenue to go, so I pretty much just...
Hello.
Are you going to be... That works? Oh, no! It fell. That's okay. Oh, it didn't fall. It just came undone. But whatever. But yeah, it's just like nothing happened. There we go.
Yeah.
But I feel like actually doing an exhibition for someone else, in a way, I'd feel so... Like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, I had another friend who also did a raw thing for... It sounds weird to say that. Like, that doesn't even make sense. But, like, one who did a showcase for them, and he gave me, like, all these tips on, like, you know, even printing places to go and, like, what you can sell. And he's like, you know, if you do portraits and stuff and want to sell, like, A5 of those, like, make sure it's, like... You ask people, like, for example, I ask people on my Instagram, like, what would you want to see as a print? And then get their ideas.
Yeah.
So then you assume that the majority of those kind of people would want prints like that. And then you kind of just have to, like, market yourself well and make sure they all fit together. And I'm just like...
Yeah, it's a lot to think
about. But no, it's good.
Okay, this is something you mentioned, and I've just thrown it into a question.
Okay.
But okay, so you mentioned that you wanted to influence photographers, like beginners
Typical.
and beginners, like, you know, internationally as well as like just
Around here.
everyone, you know,
Yeah.
through your photography and like artistic views and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you kind of come up with a creative vision when you first kind of start planning a shoot?
Well, I think the biggest thing is like having multiple inspirations.
Yeah.
So then you don't feel like you're copying one person or like, because there's a lot of people like, I'm going to use Instagram as an example because Instagram is easy just to like cop photographers on, no offense. But like, I can tell like photographers copy an exact style from something from like one person, but I think it's more like, it's better if photographers have multiple people that they go off, like they use a little bit of something from this and this and this. And I usually like people who do like diverse kind of things, like if they do like kind of what I do, like portraits that are like maybe more close up and have like patterns, or like more using a person as a subject in a landscape.
Yeah.
Like that's really, like that's the kind of thing I look for in like people's profiles and just in like my own work.
Yeah.
So I guess, and I mean in terms of like me wanting to influence like photographers, I mean, I'm also using Instagram as an example because that's my biggest platform. But like, I kind of want to like, I'm thinking, like, you know, the trendy stuff on Instagram, you know, the stuff that gets on the explore page, and just like the typical like maybe high angles and like that high contrast and that really like, I don't know, the pretty white girl, like the like stuff like that just like kind of irks me now if I sit on my explore page, or even if I start following people and they start uploading stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But I think like in terms of like, I like to think of myself working in a team with people. So like that's what I mean, like influence people internationally, because I have a lot of like different friends from different places around the world, and they all are kind of different styles. Like one could be very fine art, and one could focus a lot on like color and like fashion and like different ways that they take that in a very meaningful way. So I guess I just, as I said with the whole multiple inspirations, like taking bits out of that I can use, and then in a way that makes you like original.
Yeah.
Because then you suddenly, people aren't going to be like, oh, you copied like Brandon Waffle on Instagram. Like, I don't even know if I said his last name right, but like he's like
Waffles.
But like that's like something you notice straight away when people like use fairy lights and stuff, or
and I think that's such an overused
That was
term.
such a good answer, by the way.
What?
Like that ring.
Oh yeah, I was like, what?
So like the question.
Yeah, I was like, answer to what? It's philosophical question. I feel like the fairy lights trend was like I don't like it. Like I didn't like. I think especially. I think it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like I appreciate people who can shoot like that, but I don't know. I like when I'm planning a shoot. I'll have a few photos that I'm like, oh, like I want you to dress like this, similar. But I will always kind of chat with the model themselves and see like, oh, what do you want to, you know what I mean, like, and because I'm more fashion photography, I just love taking photos of clothes and stuff. I kind of have to try to keep that in mind the whole time. Like I would love to do close-ups and stuff like that, but
you like
clothes,
to, I mean, of course people have different ideas of what they want out of photography, and cool, it just turned off again.
I wonder, we're gonna have to try and Google what that is.
We'll have to figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because this is like our worst fear, that like the camera's gonna like turn off and, like all the time. Because both our cameras are like that. So I went and bought a new camera specifically for this reason, to prevent this. Yeah. And it's you know, you can't win. But it is our worst fear, and it's not that bad. You know.
Yeah. We've got the audio content, so that's okay.
That matters.
But I forgot what I was talking about.
Oh, we were talking about like you liking fashion and stuff, and
And I think cool. Have you seen that billboard in? Do you catch the train?
Yes.
Okay, so you go just before, I think it's Northgate, the Universal store one. It's on one of the buildings. It is like
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It is like a basic ass photo, and I
judge it every time I go past it.
I look at it and I'm like, okay, I could take a photo better than that. Where is my billboard? Like, I want to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think,
and it's like I see that kind of thing on Instagram, even like from a basic person, but like now it's like on a billboard, and it's like I can imagine other people I know that take like 100 times better photos than that.
Yeah,
and why is that representing Brisbane?
I'm just like, okay. We're gonna these next questions are gonna be pretty much directly related to photography, which I mean,
sick.
This podcast is actually just like a crash course in photography.
Yeah.
It's so good for me. I'm like, okay.
Okay. How long have you been shooting for?
I've been shooting since March 2013.
Shit.
So like when I was like, how old would I have been? I think I was like 14. So like since like
and what
middle
camera
school,
did you start with?
I started with a Nikon D5100.
And you stuck with Nikon ever since?
I stuck with Nikon, yeah.
I started with a Coolpix.
Oh.
Nikon Cool. Do you know the really trash ones?
Yeah. I mean, I had like point and shoots, but like they were like family things, and like I wasn't like into photography. I don't even know how it happened that I was like, I'm gonna do photography. My dad was like, yeah, we'll go out and buy you like a $600 camera with a kit lens. I was like, okay, that's a thing. And that's not like how people get their first cameras, but that was just how I experienced it. So
I like filming. So then I bought a camera for filming, and I'm like, oh, I can take pictures too. It's cool.
Yeah, because I remember when I got my Coolpix, it was just to take photos of like, I don't even know. I think I was YouTubing at the time when I was really little. And I was like recording everything. My whole life was pretty much on YouTube at one stage. It was embarrassing. I was like,
that was like me
gone.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, no one is seeing this ever. But then eventually I was like, wait a second. I don't want to be the subject of the camera anymore. I kind of, you know what I mean? And then I tried shooting with my shitty Nikon. No offense. It's
no, I hear all of it. It's
cool,
fine.
like, it's not Nikon itself. It's the Coolpix. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know,
Poor
you've got
Nikon.
you got your set. Like, you can't change the lens. It's just.
It's just
like,
what it is.
And it was just so bad to shoot with, and my mum was like, "Look, I'll buy you a camera." So she didn't know I was gonna stick with it, so she bought me like the one I have now is secondhand.
Oh, okay.
So it's it was bought secondhand for like $350.
Wow.
So, but yeah, and I just stuck with. I don't know. I go through times when I'm like really into shooting, and other times when I'm really into managing and doing like all the like behind the scenes stuff. So it's like
it's cool.
I don't know. Okay. How would you define your style? Yeah, I know.
Especially someone like me, where I'm just like, I like the portraits of the person, and then I like the subject in the landscape. I think my favorite type of style though is like having people in like the landscape itself. Like I wouldn't call myself a landscape photographer, but like, I mean, as I said, like talking about favorite locations, like kind of focusing on like where they are and what that means.
Yeah.
So I guess like conceptual, but like not quite. That's not like all I do, because I still enjoy like if I'm in a small space and it's like the colors complement each other with everything, or like, you know, you go to like the art gallery with the spotted dots and it's like, let's take a photo of someone, you know the one I'm talking about, and then, you know, just like nice colorful things I like too. So I'm just kind of like in the middle of this like weird style.
I think that's the only way to do it though. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't have one set style because it kind of holds you back in what you can do. I feel
like you become like a perfectionist in that, and then you don't really grow in that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have inspirations, as I said, like multiple inspirations, and like, for example, I have a friend that does really dark photography, like portraits and all that, and that's like all that she's really stuck with, but that's all she's been doing, and I don't really see it. No offense if she's watching this, but like I don't really know if it's like gonna like get better for her, because she's very much perfectionist and she doesn't want to like change anything and like go outside of the box. And I'm like, no offense, I don't really see it going anywhere.
Yeah, like you have to kind of put yourself in those challenging. I guess like challenge yourself. I guess.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah, inspiration.
I can also say that for myself, because sometimes I stick with one way of editing or one way of doing something.
Yeah.
Or I go back and see how I edited a photo, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Why is it overexposed?
Yeah, I get like that all the time. Like looking back on old photos, I'm like, who let me? who let me edit this photo this way, or like, why is there so much grain? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Grain, no. I use too much grain sometimes, and I have to like tell myself, grain has to be low key to be good. Like, it can't be full grain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I shot this on digital, not film.
I love how, like, back in the day, because I do shoot some film stuff, but it's not really, you know, I don't
focus on that. And you're just like, I'm poor, I can't afford this
Yeah.
stuff.
I have, it's just, like, but back in the day, I used to want people to think I shot with film.
Oh,
This was like in my cool pics stage, like, so I'd like hashtag all my photos with 35mm and like,
no.
and I would grain the hell out of them and make them look edgy, like, you know, turn up those greens, and I'm like,
no.
what did I do? Like, oh, it's just, I look back and I'm like, nah. But yeah, I honestly think, have you ever shot film before?
I actually haven't.
You
I
haven't?
only shot with like my friend's film camera, and I literally didn't know what I was doing. I was like, and then it did a click, and I was like, can I see
think
it?
because you can't see it, it's
Yeah.
like you sit there and you're like, shit, did I overexpose? Did I under?
Yeah.
And so many questions go through your mind. Like, I know a wedding photographer used to shoot weddings in film.
No. Oh.
She said,
Wow.
yeah. I was like, you're shooting my wedding one day. Like, her photos are incredible.
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
said, I have had so many bad weddings to get to this point. Like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
she, you know, because the sun is different every day.
Yeah.
Like, there's no set exposure. Like,
Yeah.
if you move one position, you're like changing it, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
you can miss a
exactly.
moment and stuff like that.
Yeah. Actually, it's really funny. I've got a story about shooting a wedding. So, like, I don't do a lot of commercial work and, like, fashion and stuff because I just don't really put myself out there. It's not my thing. But my friend from high school, she's kind of a friend. She started being my friend after we graduated because she got into photography. I was like, cool, we can be friends now.
Before there was no way.
No, that's so mean. I feel like I'm offending so many people who are gonna watch this. No, but she was like, hey, like, I'm doing this wedding, and I need a second shooter, and like, I'll give you half the money, even though she was doing all the editing for it, and I feel really bad. But anyway, it's not my problem. It's fine. I just have to turn up and take photos. So yeah, we did this wedding, and it was like a small wedding. It was like in this confined space with terrible lighting. So I was like, everyone go outside if you want photos. But yeah, I remember when it came to like the kiss, like I was on the wrong side, and like I didn't know that. I've never been to a wedding before, so I didn't know when it was meant to like really start. I was like, maybe
Yeah.
it'll be like 30 seconds and I'll be able to run out and get it. But then it just like happened, and I was like, crap! Like in the middle of everyone, I was like, ah! So I like missed the kiss, which is like the most important part of the
Oh,
wedding.
no.
And everyone just looked at me like, why are you here? Like, who hired you?
I love
And I
it.
was like, and then I was like to my friend, I was like, did you get that? And she's like, yeah, I think so. And then I remember they were just like, oh, like, can you do that? Like, do you want us to do it again? Because they saw me freak out, and I was like, oh, yes, please.
Oh,
So then it was fine. I got it
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
but it was just kind of like weird. 'Cause
Yeah.
You have to think about, like, not everyone thinks about the photographer when it's your wedding.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
of
or
course,
even the
of
people there,
course.
because you're just like, I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my life. I don't care about this photographer I'm paying $500 to. Fine.
Yeah, because I was like, because I love film photography, my ideal wedding, like, I want to have a photographer obviously there just to kind of capture things, but I want to give all my guests a disposable film camera each,
Ooh.
so they can shoot their own perspectives and give them, you know what I mean?
That's so cool.
That's my,
That would
you know
be
what I
so
mean?
cool, yes.
So I don't know, I'm still kind of deciding, like, I have so long to decide, so it's like, whatever. But I kind of want to, I don't know, like, do I give them a few rolls of film, or do I just give them that one roll so they've got 24 shots and 26, 24? It changes, but like, you know what I mean? So they've only
Yeah.
got a certain amount of shots, or are they gonna just, because I think a lot of people don't know how to use film cameras, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Disposable
so,
cameras are like, I mean, I think just our generation was the last one
Yeah.
to grow up with that kind of thing. So I think if you
It's
like,
funny how like quickly stuff changes like that.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Because we're used to like digital, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
like photographers are used to digital, and like if you get into it, then you start with that. But then there was like a whole generation back that couldn't afford that. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I still can't
the
afford it.
fact
Thanks,
that
parents.
I think it's crazy they couldn't have, like, obviously back in the day film was so cheap, so
Yeah.
they've all learned on this like cheap kind of way of shooting, and now it's like crazy expensive. I remember back in the day, developing photos of Big W unit was like 10 cents.
Yeah, I remember when I used to go on like school camps, like in primary school, and then you get the and it was so cheap.
My mum gave me a film camera, a disposable one. She's like, make sure you finish the roll and then you take it out and then you fill it out. And like the first roll of film was all red. I like opened it. I stuffed it up, but taking it to get developed was so cheap, and that would have been like what, not even 10 years ago. And I'm like, shit, like what? And all the rich people had digital cameras, and I was like, Mom, I want a digital camera. Everyone had digital cameras, and now everyone's like, I want a film camera. Like,
it's like reverse now almost.
But it's just not happening today. I don't think the camera just doesn't.
What kind of camera is that?
It's Sony
Alpha.
Yeah.
5000. Sony Alpha 5000.
It's not. Yeah. It's
like.
I want to know why it's overheating.
What do you want for Christmas? A Sony Alpha 5000? What the fuck is that? I've raised a retard.
But yeah, I think that's about everything we're gonna cover today. Yes.
Yeah, I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, we've been chatting for a while. My knees are starting to hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any last words?
No.
Do you have any last words?
Yeah. Actually, plug anything. Plug like all your social media, whatever you want.
Okay.
Or like just say anything you want.
So like you can follow me on Instagram at SamKMarie. If you want to follow my personal, it's SamBamBands. I don't know if you guys are gonna put this all in, like in the description if they wanna.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, sick. And I mainly use Instagram because that's my main platform. I don't have like a Facebook page and stuff.
Yeah.
It just some things are just too much to handle.
Yeah.
But I also have a Flickr page, and that's just like the URL of Flickr, and then /photos/ my name is Samantha Kiley, and those are the two things I mainly use.
Woo.
Awesome.
Sick.
Anyway, so thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for coming on
the show.
On the show. Talking about everything. I loved talking about donut time.
Time. That was the highlight of this whole thing.
No, I loved it. It was fun chatting with you, and I think learning so much about my favourite donut place that it's. I can't believe I was eating frozen donuts. Like, but
Just it's full of emotions.
I am full of emotions, right? But yeah, it was lovely having you on the show, and hope you had a lovely time on the show.
I did.
It's like,
So
okay,
fun.
okay, let's.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay. See you guys next week.
See you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yay!
Yay! Oh, my knees are gonna be like so dead.